Another big controversy has hit the Indian Premier League, a controversy involving cricketing czar N.Srinivasan, his company, India Cements, and the Chennai Super Kings. A Headlines Today exclusive. Now, this particular controversy revolves around the valuation of Chennai Super Kings, a team which has won the IPL twice, was a runners-up thrice, boasts of stars like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Ravindra Jadeja, Brendan McCullum, and Michael Hussey. The team has been valued by its owners at just 5 lakh rupees. Yes, you heard it right, 5 lakh rupees. Absurd as it may sound, that's the amount the team was sold by India Cements. That's the valuation of this particular team, and we are going to get you this latest information. We've got documents, we've got papers to show, a Headlines Today exclusive where the Chennai Super Kings has valued itself at this particular amount. Now, how did they come or arrive at this particular figure? Remember, this is the much talked about Chennai Super Kings, which has the biggest stars in the Indian cricket fraternity. They've got Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the captain of the Indian side. They've got Suresh Raina in his previous avatar. They've got many big leaders, as we named you just a short while back. Most of them have been bought for crores of rupees. Now, how did this all happen? How is CSK for just 5 lakh rupees? Why are we calling it the big IPL controversy? Now, CSK team has valued itself at 5 lakh rupees. Now, according to the new IPL Governing Council, the new Governing Council got this document for ratification. They refused to ratify the CSK team sale specifics, because when they went into detail and actually saw that the valuation is only for 5 lakh rupees, the owners pegged the value of Chennai Super Kings at a mere 5 lakh rupees. Most of the members in the BCCI actually said, hey, wait, is that your real value? And that is why they decided that, this should be put on hold. And in the last meeting of the IPL, this decision was taken to put this particular ratification process at least on hold. Some of the members even raised this concern in the previous meeting of the Governing Council of the IPL. So this is the big controversy at this moment. A lot of explaining to do as far as Chennai Super Kings is concerned. Now, what do the BCCI's rules say? BCCI's rules state that 5% of the team's sale price must be given to the board. So if the valuation of the team is just 5 lakh rupees, 5% of that amount will actually be given to the board. Now, just imagine 5% of the valuation of Chennai Super Kings in transfer of ownership. The valuation means BCCI earns 25,000 rupees from the CSK team sale. That's the amount that CSK feels it actually values its company at that particular amount. And that is something that raised huge doubts as far as that ratification process was concerned. That's where the controversy has actually come from. Those documents are exclusively with us in our possession here on Headlines Today. We have Mr. Chetan Chauhan joining us here in the studio. Morning, sir. What do you make of this, valuation? I mean, as if controversies were not enough at this moment for Chennai Super Kings for the IPL. Now there is an undervaluation that takes place.
Well, see, everything depends on what is the structure of CSK, whether it's a society or it's a company it's a partnership. See, so everything depends there. Also depends on the management as to how they want to operate. Well, there are instances when there is hardly any value of the shares, and people amongst the family, they transfer shares to one another. See, the father giving to the son, or the brother giving it to the brother, or the brother giving it to the wife. So these transfers take place. Everything depends on what exactly is happening. If it's a company, well, if the BCCI is not very happy about the valuation, they can always go to an approved valuer. One. Two, they can always go to, if it's a company, well, the registrar of companies is there, company law board is there, the registrar of companies is there, and they can always send a letter and ask for the valuation to be done of CSK. I think these are the options available to the BCCI. But one thing for sure, a team of CSK valued at 5 lakh rupees, I think that it's not right.
It's not right, and that's really, I mean, for the common viewer, if we were to tell you that here is the Chennai Super Kings, Whistle Podu, the big team of the Indian Premier League, which has some of the biggest stars bought for crores and crores of rupees. The value of this team, 5 lakh rupees. Many of you can't even buy a house in the national capital or anywhere in this country for that amount. Let me quickly go across to Boria Majumdar, who joins us. Morning, Boria. If you could just explain or decode for us, for our viewers, what exactly, I mean, there are certain concerns that Chetanji is actually raising about whether this, what exactly is this, transfer or sale transfer actually all about. If you could explain the technical details, how Chennai Super Kings has magically assessed itself at just 5 lakh rupees.
Yes, Sanket, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Firstly, it's absurd. It's clearly absurd that Chennai Super Kings can be valued at 5 lakh rupees. So what is the story? The story is when there was a case of conflict of interest involving N.Srinivasan at the Supreme Court, N.Srinivasan and the company decided that they will transfer Chennai Super Kings to a new company or a new entity whereby this conflict of interest case is resolved. This is the result of this transfer they are talking about now. According to the BCCI's rules, if a team is transferred to a new entity, the BCCI stands to get 5% of that money. If you see valuations in the market, recently an American company has valued Chennai Super Kings at close to 500 crores. If you see the last two teams that were sold in the IPL, Pune went for 1700 crores, Kochi went for 1500 crores. So going by that, conservative estimate would be approximately 500 crores and a realistic estimate would be anywhere about 700 to 800 crores. If that is the case, 5% of that money tantamounts to anywhere between 25 and 50 crores that India Cements and Chennai Super Kings owe to the BCCI. The moment that transfer is effective, the BCCI stands to earn 25 to 50 crore rupees. In this case, what was done? It was put that the transfer value is 5 lakhs, whereby 5% means 25,000 rupees is what the BCCI stands to gain. The jury is clearly out on this one, Sanket, that why would you want to do it?
Absolutely.
This was placed in the IPL Governing Council minutes of 27th February. Question is, 1. IPL COO Sundar Raman was involved in drafting the minutes. He is the IPL COO. 2. Ranjiv Biswal was then Governing Council Chairman. How does such things come into the IPL Governing Council minutes without the knowledge of the chairman and the COO? Interestingly, Ajay Shirke, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Saurav Ganguly and number of others who are part of this Governing Council have refused to ratify it, saying this is absolutely not done because the BCCI stands to lose 25 to 50 crores as a result of this discrepancy.
Now imagine, Mr. Chauhan, just imagine 5 lakh rupees for Chennai Super Kings. Why would they want to undervalue their particular team down to 5 lakh rupees? I mean, look at it this way. For a layman, I would actually be thinking of buying Chennai Super Kings, perhaps taking a short loan, small loan, personal loan from the bank. 5 lakh rupees, that's all it takes to own a team.
Well, see, everything depends, as I said, whether these shares are being transferred within the group or within the family, or and what is the structure. But one thing is for sure, the IPL Governing Council, the latest one, the recent one, appointed this year,
yes.
I think they've taken a right decision by not agreeing for the approval of this transfer, because see, this can be illegal and these people can be dragged into the court, because these matters have become very, very sensitive. Whether it is Chennai Super Kings or IPL in general is very sensitive, and with conflict of interest and the case being pending in the Supreme Court, I think one has to be very, very careful in these matters, and also nothing irregular, illegal against the rule, especially if it's a company, then either it would be a private limited company or it would be a public limited company.
Right.
So you are definitely governed by the Registrar of Companies or Companies Act. You are governed by the Companies Act.
Absolutely.
And in that case, I think a lot of things can come out, and I think the IPL Governing Council has done the right thing by not approving this.
Absolutely. Boria and Chetanji, I'll just come back to you in just a short moment. Let me go across to Jatinder Chima, who's a corporate lawyer who joins us this morning. Morning, Mr. Chima. If you could tell us the legal position as far as these things are concerned. Clearly, this appears to be a case of undervaluation of a particular company. What do the rules say? Can this be done?
Well, Sanket, I think two things while we debate about this, we should keep in consideration. One is that the matter is sub judice.
Okay.
And I think most important thing is that the order talks about conflict of interest situation and to resolve that situation. And hence, whatever restructuring is done of CSK by India Cements has to take into consideration that there is no further conflict of interest in any rearrangement that they do. Okay. There is a provision, Section 188 of the Companies Act, which prohibits related party transactions. Okay. What does it mean? That if you are a director or a member of a company and you are transacting a business with that company, then you have a conflict of interest. You are a related party as per Section 2(76) of the Companies Act, the new Companies Act 2013. Now, how do you resolve this? You have to, if you're a related party, you have to pass a special resolution of the board. 2, you do not have to vote when this matter comes up before the board. The persons who are conflicted or who are a related party do not vote on that. And 3rd, that entire transaction should be done at arm's length. Now, what do you mean by arm's length? Arm's length means that the two persons who are transacting, they should have no conflict of interest. I'm coming back to the point where I started.
Yeah.
So, whatever structuring has been done of this transaction, they have to be very careful that they are a related party in the situation. I'm told that they hold about 28% of the parent holding company, which clearly shows that they would be a related party insofar as Section 188 of the Companies Act is concerned. So I think there are a lot of questions which needs to be answered. I don't have the exact structure or the rearrangement that they have done, but I think through the debate, if there's something more comes up, then I'll be happy to respond. So there is this conflict of interest situation. A related party is a big issue insofar as these arrangements are concerned, and especially under the new Companies Act 2013.
Absolutely. And also Mr. Cheema, the point is that the board here is robbed of some legitimate income. Because if you undervalue, and this is just a layman's understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you undervalue a company and if by the rules you have to pay 5% of the amount to the board, then in that case the board is being robbed of some legitimate income that it may earn through this process.
No, now let me just also add to that. You see, I think the India Cements is a public listed company. Now, there is the SEBI Act which will come into play. And what is the SEBI Act for? It is to look after the larger public interest. Okay, the public shareholding in that company is to be protected. And that is the role of the board. That they need, whatever decisions that they make are in the interest of the public shareholders who are sitting as members of the company. So I think what is very important is that anything that the board does in a public company has to be above board, and it has to meet with the provisions of SEBI Act as well as the Companies Act, both. Okay. The subsidiary, if they have constituted, will, there are a lot of provisions which were applicable to public companies earlier are now have been made applicable to private companies also. If this is a subsidiary which is a private company, then some of those provisions will also apply provided they meet some financial thresholds. So I think that is also something that will have to be looked at in any kind of this arrangement. And I think what you need to do is you need to dig a little deeper into all of this and find out how this structuring has really been done.
Absolutely, Mr. Cheema. Absolutely. And before I go across to Mr. Desai, let me also quickly go across to Boria. Boria, at the bottom of it all is this whole controversy. And for the benefit of our viewers, let's quickly just explain what this whole controversy is all about. It revolves around the valuation of Chennai Super Kings, a team which has won the IPL twice, was a runner-up thrice, boasts of stars like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Ravindra Jadeja, Brendan McCullum, Michael Hussey. This team has been valued by its owners at just 5 lakh rupees. That's really the absurdity as far as this story is concerned. Boria.
Sanket, Mr. Cheema was making some really interesting points. Just one point of clarification there. When you said board I think he interpreted as the Chennai Super Kings or the India Cements Board. Here we are talking about the BCCI.
BCCI,
according to the franchise agreement of the IPL,
No.
what the IPL franchise agreement states very clearly is, please allow me, if a team is transferred, 5% of that transfer fee goes to the board. I don't understand corporate law, but this is what the IPL franchise agreement states in very blanket terms.
No.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, Mr. Buria and Sanket, let me clarify. When I refer to the board, I'm talking of the board of India Cements, which has been holding CSK.
Yeah, but we are talking about the board for control for cricket in India.
I'm not referring. I'm not talking of the board of cricket in India. Fine.
Correct.
Fine. That's fine.
Let
I
me
just wanted to clarify.
The story to you, and then we'll come to your opinion. Yeah, the story is, according to the BCCI's rules and the IPL franchise agreement, the statement is simple, that if there is a transfer of any particular team, in this case Chennai Super Kings, 5% of the transfer value has to go to the BCCI. So the BCCI stands to earn X crores if Chennai Super Kings is valued at 500 crores. If it's valued at 500 by the market, you guys will be better in a position to tell us, then the BCCI stands to earn 25 crores. Now if Chennai Super Kings stands valued at 5 lakh rupees, then the BCCI earns 25,000 rupees. That is what irked the BCCI governing council members, saying, how is it even feasible or possible or in the realms of possibility that an entity like Chennai Super Kings, please remember, the last two IPL teams were sold for 1,700 and 1,500 respectively. In such circumstances, how a team like Chennai Super Kings can be sold for anything or transferred for anything under 500? Effectively, it is a case of the BCCI standing to lose 25 to 50 crores. How does one explain that? Question one, how does the IPL COO, who is under investigation by a Supreme Court appointed committee, allow this to be inducted or included in the minutes of the IPL Governing Council? Two, were the Governing Council members of the previous dispensation aware of this valuation in the first place? Our sources tell us that they were not. Three, if this is the valuation, was the chairman, in that case Ranjiv Biswal, aware of this valuation? Four, the fact that Ajay Shirke, Jyotiraditya Sindhya and some of the others who are new Governing Council members have stopped this. What is the BCCI going to do? Will the BCCI investigate this matter? Suspend people who are involved? What is the future course of action?
Absolutely. Will there be a preliminary investigation in this particular case is what we are here at Headlines Today are actually asking. Before I come across to you, Mr. Desai, let me quickly go across to and explain to our viewers who are joining us at this moment what this story is all about. The big IPL controversy that we are getting you here on Headlines Today is about the fact that the Chennai Super Kings has valued itself at 5 lakh rupees. That's it. That's the valuation of the Chennai Super Kings. It's a big controversy. The new IPL Governing Council refused to ratify this particular team's sales specifics of Chennai Super Kings. Now, what exactly happened? The owners pegged the value of their team at a mere 5 lakh rupees. Now, according to the rules of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, the BCCI, 5% of this amount is supposed to go to the board. Now, 5% of 5 lakh rupees actually amounts to 25,000 rupees. Now, there is a clear case of the board losing if CSK were to be sold or sales transferred at its real value, stands to lose close to 25 to 30 crore rupees. It's a case of undervaluation where the Board of Control for Cricket in India is losing that much amount. But the bigger story, the other big story was that in the Governing Council meeting that was held of the BCCI, this particular ratification process was put on hold. It was not allowed to sail through. It was not allowed to go through. Mr. Desai, before we quickly take a break, just want to ask this question. What really does this mean for the brand IPL, for brand CSK? I mean, how should this be seen? This undervaluation, how should this actually be seen in the world of perception?
Well, I don't know about the world of perception, but all I do know is that, it would be much better. Viewers might benefit from the participation in a debate like this of people from the Board of Control for Cricket or from India Cements or from the Chennai Super Kings team. As it stands, this debate is about if and when. It may be 25 lakhs, it may be 25 crores. But I think if I was their advisor in terms of brand valuation, I would tell the people on the other side, the team side, that you should send your people out and explain to the media, because the manner in which their public standing has systematically been undermined by continuous negative coverage. I wouldn't be surprised if it's been valued by an investor at 25 lakhs, because a brand is only worth the trust and the integrity of its promoters.
All right, Mr. Desai, Mr. Chetan Chauhan, as well as Mr. Chima and Boria, do stay on with us. We'll continue with this particular story, and we'll also show you those documents, the minutes of that meeting, those documents that actually were presented before the board, which the board refused to ratify. We'll show you all that and much more. This is the big IPL controversy of this particular season.